All right, Chad, I know what you're thinking. I'm not Jyggy. As much as I want to be, I'm not him. Give me a quick second to fix this. I can fix this. Hold on. All right. Welcome everybody. Good evening, good morning, wherever you are. I'm Laughing Boy LP, and I've got three very lovely guests with me today. It's a 4-person pod. I haven't had a 4-person podcast in a while. We got a full deck. 2 Jiggies? That's right. No, that's correct. We have 2 Jiggies on the podcast today.
I don't think the world could handle 2 Jiggies.
Getting Jyggy with it.
Handle 2 Jiggies. I can barely handle 1.
I was about to say, could you imagine Jyggy just like living with himself?
I would hate it.
I mean, you're doing all these really cool effects, and chat can't even see it. Hold on.
I'm not doing any. I'm just cutting between the other cameras just to bother you.
Oh, okay. Sure. Great. 6, and then.
Oh, goodness.
Left. How y'all doing tonight?
I'm good.
Not too bad. Got a bit to do, but all good. Looking forward to this. This will be fun. Yeah.
Surviving.
My hand hurts.
You
Why?
gaming too hard?
You put the Wii U gamepad in your hand like this, and you play a video game like this for hours, and it hurts.
I'm aware of the Wii U gamepad. That's why I don't have my Wii U out anymore.
How hard do you? Oh, I guess you are.
I feel like it's not meant to be held that way, but they set it up that you have to.
Oh, they did. The DS. That's right. I never downloaded a single DS game on the Wii U.
I'm playing Phantom Hourglass like this, and what's very dumb is in the game, to use your item you have to use the R button, or tap on it. But obviously you need to use the R button on the DS. But the only way to do it is to use your palm. And so you push your palm down. So the only way to play this game is like this. This is how you play the game. And then you put your palm down to use the bow and arrow.
Yeah.
It's very dumb.
You need like a
gamepad
stand. Like a stand that you can kind of set it.
Yeah, you can.
How would you hit the button? How would you put? You literally have to hit the trigger button in order to use the item.
Yeah,
Isn't there multiple ways to have this screen? Can't you
you
do
can
side
hold
by
it
side?
like this, but then that hurts even more because look at it's holding this controller to play. Then you have to use the R button with your pinky, which is even worse. It's really not fun.
They were not meant to be played that way.
I mean, imagine playing Super Mario 64 DS that way. My least favorite way to play that game.
Oh, the touchscreen way?
Yeah. I mean, if I had the original DS with the thumb thing, I feel like that game would be far more okay.
Thumb thing?
Is it playable?
You don't remember that?
Is it playable on the 3DS? I mean, you can do the approximation with they can.
It's way better on the 3DS because of the analog stick. But
well, there's that. I did try. It's not that good. There are still issues because I do remember being like, oh, let me try it, and I just remember being like, oh, this doesn't work for me, and I think it had to do with the button layout. And so I tried going back to stylus, and that was not as helpful as I thought it would be. So I was just kind of like, if only I had the thumb thing from the original DS, the one that it was the touch pad thingy that wrapped around your thumb, and instead of using a stylus, you would just rub the screen with your thumb.
Oh yeah, wow, yeah. I haven't thought about that in a really long time.
Yeah.
Didn't they also use that for Metroid Prime Hunters?
I think so.
I mean, I have to assume so. That was around the same time. The first DS I bought was the DS Lite with Spirit Tracks. That set.
New Super Mario Brothers DS. The New Super Mario Brothers was effective in getting me to get it, but I was also I didn't like the look of the original DS. And I know that, and I was really actually split between it and the PSP. And I was like, I'm pretty sure Nintendo's going to have a redesign at some point. And sure enough, as soon as they did that, I snatched it up.
Yeah.
I was a DS fatter. I was the launch day, and then I was launch day on the Dome Silver one, and I did not upgrade from the DSi.
I didn't upgrade at all. I had the original DS and then the original 3DS.
That was me with the Game Boy Advance. I learned my lesson with the Game Boy Advance because I got the original GBA, and then they had the SP
with the backlight.
With the backlight, and I'm like, that's No, never again. Especially when I saw the DS, the original DS does not have a backlight. I'm like,
Mhm.
nope, you're not tricking me
It
again,
it it
Nintendo.
it does, it's just so
It's
dim.
so yeah, it's like
It's the
hardly
most
even.
dim, and if you turn it on, the battery life is, like a half, not even half of
Yeah.
what it
Oof.
is. The original DS, its battery is not that good.
So basically what I like to do here at the start of the podcast is basically like fixing tech. I'm actually like very proud of myself. This is probably the cleanest start I've had to the podcast in months.
Ooh,
So
Oh.
yes, yeah, thank you. If 20 gift
proud
subs,
of you,
please.
Andrew.
But what we like to do at the start of the podcast is a little bit of a Q&A session. So this kind of gives us the ability to warm up. It gives me the ability to kind of do tech. It gives me everyone kind of the ability to just, get all loose and not and get some of the butterflies out. Because Lord knows I've done 50 episodes of this podcast and I still get, nervous, anxiety.
Anxiety.
I like your
I've
thumbnail.
Did you pick that up from me?
Yes.
Because I say that, and I've never heard anyone else say
I
that.
literally saw you write that last night during Josh's stream, and I was like, I've had that word in my head for the last 24 hours.
We're gonna make that a thing.
But that's why, like, my wife started rummaging through like old memes, and she found like I'm just a goal. It's scary outside.
Yeah, I can relate.
Greetings everybody in chat. If anybody has any question for our panelists, it can be mostly anything, like how are we doing? What games have we been playing? I mean, obviously we're going to be talking a little bit about that. We're probably also going to be talking a little bit about Geoff Keighley's summer pool party from the last month. So if you guys have any questions for us, feel free to ask. I usually wait, I should be more forward thinking and have like a tweet beforehand that says please ask away, and we'll just read your tweets, but I always forget. So but I'll try to kick things off because like I'm like, what games you been playing? But that's we're gonna talk about that, you know what I mean? Like, what games haven't you been playing? What games
All of them.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
I mean, that's also an impressive.
Yeah.
That's an impressive number. What game from 2024 have you been playing that you've been really enjoying?
Not from 2024.
Not from 2024. Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say if we're gonna talk about the ones from 2024, I think thought that was the actual discussion.
No. What games from not 2024? If have y'all been playing? Have you played anything from not 2024 that you've been enjoying? Any backlog?
I'm back on my Animal Crossing shenanigans.
Oh no.
Yeah. Are you?
It
going back
happens.
to-
It comes in bursts, and then it leaves for like 2-3 months, and then it comes back, and I can't put it down.
I've never been. I've tried on 2 different occasions to get into Animal Crossing. I can't. It is just not my genre.
It is
in the
definitely
slightest.
for a particular type of like obsessive compulsive type of person, and that is me.
So I only play video games on my live stream because I secretly hate video games.
No, we all know.
Yeah. So I've only been playing Zelda and Pokemon and all that stuff. But the one game that I'm back on, and this kind of is a little bit like your Animal Crossing thing, Rebecca. But every once in a while, I just get really sucked into a roguelite, and I just go ham on the roguelite. And I'm back on Binding of Isaac nonsense because I found out that the Binding of Isaac is on iPhone, full game, all the DLC. And when I'm not live streaming, the only video games that I play are on my phone, which is really weird. It's just with like running around and doing all that stuff, it just happens. So this has been what my life has been for the last like.
Oh, and you have the little. I was going to ask how you do the
Backbone.
controls.
Nice.
Backbone.
Yeah.
I use the Backbone and the Binding of Isaac Repentance on my phone while I watch TV or I do emails or whatever. It's just
Nice.
this has been what I've been doing.
You know, that could easily be a Switch.
It could.
Just saying.
Correct.
I mean,
But guess what? I'm not forced to carry a Switch around with me all my entire life.
You
I
know,
am forced to carry a phone around with me.
I have talked to people, and this has come up on numerous occasions, how brilliant it would be for Nintendo to put Nintendo Switch Online on mobile devices through like the Nintendo app, whatever, so that you can do exactly that and have that wherever you go and be able to play like Super Mario Bros. Or like, whatever is on their NSO catalog.
You're not wrong.
Smart.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Delta emulator. I mean, that's
I
competition at this rate.
literally said
I
as
have
pull up-
been playing Soul Silver on the Delta emulator. It's like those kind of games are perfect for the phone because I don't need that little controller add-on thing. Like, you can't really play like platformer. Ooh, that's nice. That's nice. That's very good.
I don't
It is a
emulate
very
a ton.
It is.
Yeah.
It is honestly surprisingly how enjoyable. This is. I'm only doing this because I'm on Laughing Boys
Oh,
YouTube
okay,
channel.
thanks.
Get you in trouble, not me.
Yeah. Now
it's-
Nintendo will never work with you.
Yeah.
No, they will. They're just gonna give me like a shaming session before it.
Yeah. I'm shocked at how much fun I have with playing like classic Nintendo games just on the go on my phone. And again, some games suck without like the controller, but like Pokemon Soul Silver, like that's just really enjoyable. Like any Pokemon game you can just play. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, like Ocarina of Time and Majora runs really well on this nonsense.
Very nice.
Nice.
Derek, have you been playing anything that's not 2024?
It's very much in the same way as Jyggy. What I stream. So I've been. I just finished indie game from a few years back. Raji and Ancient Epic yet last night.
Oh yeah.
Which was interesting because it got the Indian mythology thing, which you don't see too much of in games outside of Persona, really. But it's has issues, and the ending is so sudden and non-satisfying. It's just like I can't recommend it. It's just like, oh, this wasn't the best. But otherwise, the sort of the big thing I'm doing right now is I've started my whole marathon of playing every single Mega Man game. So
now, is that like including Battle Network and Legends and nice?
When I say every single Mega Man game, I have a list.
Soccer.
There are 71 games.
Wow, that's a lot. That's more than I thought.
Maybe they'll release the next game by the time you're done.
So like spin-offs
Hopefully,
included.
there are 71 Mega Man games, not including like, for example, they re-released Mega Man on the PlayStation, but there's no sizable difference between the original and the PlayStation version. It's just better music. But for example, like you have Mega Man on Genesis through the Wily Wars. That's significantly different. So that one I include and pop in there. But yeah, every single one. Even I found Korean Mega Man games licensed by Capcom.
Oh wait,
I'm going to be playing.
Are you playing the Are you going to try to play like the PC ones that they came out with in a long time ago?
I think those might be the Korean ones. Is it like Rockman Strategy you're thinking of?
No, there's like an MS-DOS like version of Mega Man 3.
Yes, I already played that. I already played Mega Man DOS, and I have Mega Man 3 DOS coming
That's wild.
up. Fun fact, there's no Mega Man 2 DOS.
What?
Yeah, I was looking this up. So they have Mega Man 1 DOS and Mega Man 3 DOS. But Mega Man 3 DOS is only called Mega Man 3 DOS because one of the robot masters they have in the game looks a lot like Sparkman from Mega Man 3. So they're like, hey, just call it Mega Man 3. It'll bring in people. But they're all original like robot masters and levels and whatnot. It's just on DOS. So you're using keyboard controls. So jump is with J and shoot is with spacebar, and you're moving with the arrow keys, and it is awkward as all get out. And not good. But it's interesting to get those pieces of Mega Man that I've never played before.
Yeah.
And totally easy to play. You just go to My Abandonware, look up Mega Man, and you will find those games to play online, no issue. Well, other than the fact they're not good. But yeah, otherwise it's like I'm going because typically when people cover Mega Man, it's always like, here's all the classic games, here's all the X games, here's all such and such.
Yeah.
I'm going in chronological order, so it's just going. It's going to be an interesting mix later on. where it's like, now I'm playing Mega Man X. Now I'm playing Mega Man Soccer. Now I'm playing Mega Man on Game Boy. Sure.
Yeah, that is actually an interesting way to do it, especially like considering that you're literally playing every single game in chronological order. So now you're just like switching between. I was about to say kind of genre, but also mostly just switching between like systems constantly.
Yeah, like last week I did the first Mega Man Game Boy game. This week is Mega Man 4. I'm not sure. I forget what's after 4. I think it's Mega Man. Actually, I do remember this now. Mega Man 4. No, yeah. Dr. Wily's Revenge, Mega Man 4, and Mega Man 2 on Game Boy all came out in the same year.
Oh, wow! They
So
just
2 Game Boy games in the same year.
That is a lot.
Yeah. It's crazy.
We have a question from chat from Lotpren. What console have you owned the most games on?
Oh, I can actually look that up.
Probably Switch, to be honest, because this is the first console that I have fully as well, besides Wii U, the first console that I have like fully as an adult with my own money and can buy games for myself, and has lasted like the longest amount of time. I feel like the Switch has had a longer life than any other console, so I've had like more opportunities to buy games.
I think the first console I was able to buy with like my own adult money was like the PS3. So, but
yeah, I think that was me as well.
I think my friend during my last stream tallied it and was like, I have like 97 Switch games. I think it's now 98.
That's a lot.
It's a lot for just one system, and that's definitely one of the largest that I have, if not PlayStation 3. Switch after that.
It's gonna be
Like,
a little
PC doesn't count, right?
skewed.
Yeah,
It's gonna be slightly skewed for me just because I combine my copies with Amy,
Mm-hmm.
that's true.
my partner. But gosh, I think it actually is the Switch. Yeah,
Nintendo Switch really had games.
it's either the Switch or PS3 for me. The PS3 was such a long generation that I just kept getting games.
Oh, 90? Well, yeah, okay. 90, 97. What's the difference? Yeah, that's right. We were also talking about the Wizard. Yeah, so that's definitely, it's got to be for me. So I can't think of another system where I have 90 games. I think even
No.
PS3, it's probably like
What about
70 or something.
3DS?
I don't think I have
3DS
90
is up there.
3DS games.
3DS has a lot of games.
I have like about 90 games on 3DS.
Might have that many on my modded 3DS.
Which is apparently very easy to do.
Yeah, if it's not counting PC, I think I really don't know. I think it's actually like Wii for me. I have a lot of Wii games, like just like a lot of shovelware Wii games because I thought they'd be funny. I don't know. Like I
those
love
are
the
cheap
Switch.
to pick up.
Yeah, I love the Switch, but I also like if you're talking about Prime, like when I was a kid, like the GameCube, I had games, but I was very choosy with games because it just what it was. But the Wii was like prime time. Not only did I have a little bit of money, so I was buying games, but also like the easy thing for my parents to like gift on a gift, birthday or Christmas was just a Wii game.
Yeah.
And so that was Wii was a lot.
I'm very, very more liberal with my buying games like for myself as an adult than my parents were for me as a kid. It was like you get like 1 or 2 games for Christmas or a birthday maybe, and like that's
Wii
it.
was also
I'm buying
like
games constantly now as an
I will
adult.
say
it was a cheaper game too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$40.
I was quite spoiled because I had an interesting situation where all of my grandparents were divorced and remarried, so I had 4 sets of grandparents.
Whoa, that's
you
a lot
get
of
a lot of games when you have 4 sets of grandparents.
That's a lot of
So I made up pretty well.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I had one grandparent in my life.
Yeah.
I had 2 sets, but they definitely spoiled me when they could.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just it's a little all over the place before I got into gaming magazines, but once I had gaming magazines and realized what was good and wanted to try out different things, that's when it's like, okay, now I can actually have a list of things I'm interested in trying. And then there's a time where I'd look at a game and be like, I don't have time to play this now, but I know it's going to be rare at some point. I'm going to
Yes.
get it now.
That
Yeah.
game series for me is Disgaea. I have every single Disgaea game. I have not played any of them because I was like, this game is going to be so expensive by the time I figure out that I want to play it. So I need to buy it now.
Funny,
I have
that
a
was
couple of
the one
those.
that stands out for me was Nier. I also got Disgaea 1 through 3.
Yeah.
But I picked up the original Nier because I saw it was pretty cheap, and I'm like, ooh. But yeah.
Looks
Jyggy, you
over
need
at
to update. No, go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, looks over at my copy of Chibi Robo Whiplash that I bought 3 of because I thought the amiibo was gonna be expensive.
Oh, you dummy!
I got
Ouch.
dude. I have 3 copies of Chibi Robo Zipline Ziplash. Never played the game. They're all sealed and they're just sitting because
Nice one.
the game just exists. Maybe it'll be worth more money one day, but it just is not probably not because 3DS is so hackable.
I think one of my biggest hot takes about video games right now is that I actually kind of liked Ziplash. I thought it was fun.
I reviewed that game. It was fine, but I also had no history with the original Chibi Robo, so I was going into it, without that
That's
context.
true. That was like the
Did you
first Chibi
see
Robo game I ever
that-
played.
Did you guys see that some of the original Chibi Robo developers are making a new game? There's a Kickstarter for it. What's it called? Co-Robo?
Co-Robo.
Is that what it's
Co-Robo,
called?
yeah.
Co-Robo?
Thank
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
disembodied
Cool.
Josh
Yeah.
Jepson.
Thank you. Yeah. Our little
backed
fact
it.
checker.
He
He
backed it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
nice.
People love. How is that doing?
I don't know.
I've not looked at their
I'll-
Kickstarter because I know it just went live not too long ago, but I don't know how much they were asking for, and I don't know.
I don't know.
I'll do my
How well
due
it did.
diligence. Corobo.love. Where's the here it is.
I know part of me wishes that, even though I know it's not a great game, but I know it became really rare. God, I wish I'd picked up Cubivore.
I
on
know.
GameCube,
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish.
Man,
Yeah,
that's worth so
you would be
bad.
rich. You would be
I
very,
want
very good.
Cubivore so bad.
I want that.
I-
I want what was it? The robot one?
Custom Robo.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those two are just kind of like shit. I lost. I
GameCube is a
missed out.
wacky console right now. It's doing this.
It's
GameCube.
because all the kids that grew up with GameCube,
Yeah.
they have disposable income. So now
Yeah.
GameCube is super popular.
Yeah, but like some of the
Mhm.
games are just like wacky, you know? Like technically the most expensive GameCube game is like
Pokemon
Disney
Box?
Sports. No, Disney Sports. It's
What?
Like,
Oh wow.
yeah,
Weird.
it's
I'm looking
that one is very rare. Yeah.
yeah, it's a real
Huh.
for some reason
It's like
Disney
Mickey
Sports
something,
Mix.
right?
Mickey Sports Mix or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Pokemon
did
Box
a
is up there.
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, Pokemon
I did a
Box is
list
my
one time. There's some surprising ones.
Pokemon Box is
I,
my poverty get out of jail free card. Like if I actually run out of money, I can sell that game and I'm good.
Is it Disney Sports Basketball?
You got it.
New
Yeah.
is still $3,000, but Pokemon
Holy
Box
crap.
Is $5,000 I think
that one's
in box.
stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's $5,000 in box if you have everything. It's like if
Yeah.
you have just the box with the disc and the memory card, I still think it's like 3. It's crazy.
Who in the world would spend that much? I was weighing my options when I really wanted to play Skies of Arcadia and spend $100 on that. I'm like, oh god, I broke the bank on this.
You played. I mean, one of my favorite GameCube games that breaks the bank is is Ribbit King Plus. I love Ribbit King
Oh.
Plus. It's a game where it's golfing but with frogs.
Oh yeah, we played that.
Yeah,
today.
I'm
That's
aware of
cool.
that. I've seen that game.
Yeah.
It looks.
That game's about $500
Interesting.
right now. Pretty great.
I'm just grateful I picked up both Fire Emblem Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn
Yep.
when it was new. It was just like, oh, cool.
There's
That
some
was a good
weird
investment.
games like there's some weirdo games that are like big money right now too. It's just like I was just talking about this because I'm getting ready to move in. Once I'm done with Zelda, I'm moving on to Metroid Wheel, and so I have to complete my Metroid collection of owning the games. And the games I'm missing are the ones that I just didn't buy. So I'm missing Metroid Prime Pinball, Federation Force because I thought it was just gonna be Triforce Heroes 2. And then I'm missing Metroid Prime Hunters which is the DS version. Everybody had the
demo first time.
demo, but nobody got the game.
They have to be. I never played it myself, but they have to re-release that in some form, right? Because that's where Psylocke originates, and he's like the big deal.
No idea what they're gonna do. I'd be shocked
because he showed up in Hunters. He returns in at the end of Prime 3. He's still around at the end of Federation Force. That's the extra scene.
We see him in 4.
And then there he is in 4.
Part. So,
but everything I understand really is like Psylocke is just sort of a nothing character in Hunters. So it's like, okay.
But like Hunters is like an $80 video game if you want the box right now. It's $20
out
of the box.
I feel so stupid because I sold that. Because I was like, I really didn't enjoy playing Metroid Prime Hunters.
Even Federation Force is like $80 if you want the box right now. And I'm so sad.
Fortunately, I do have Federation Force. I actually kind of like Federation Force.
I saw that game at like $5 below for $2. I'm like, why didn't I buy it?
I know.
I know what I did. I saw the same thing with Other M for like $2 at $5 below. I picked it up. Like, nope, I'm gonna grab this. Just, you never know.
Yeah, it's like even if you don't really like the game, like it's $2.
Exactly.
Just to update, we the Korobo Kickstarters is over 50% done.
Okay.
$72,868 out of their $127,970 goal.
That'll get fun.
That'll be fine.
And 30 days to go. So it's I think
they're just fine.
Just started. So and then we have one more question from Rob. Any of you coming to PAX West? I mean,
unfortunately not. I haven't been able to go to a con in quite a long time.
Looks like it'll just be me.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'd like to, but I don't think so. Possibly. I would say it's like a
you got
25% chance right now. 25% chance unless I get like help to go there. Like, like do a job or something like that. I'd like to one day though. PAX West is the only PAX events I haven't been to. Oh no, I didn't go to South, so never mind. It's also the only other PAX event that's not East.
All right, I'll let this one more question go because now we're getting all the questions. What is your least favorite console, and what would it need to do to get your attention? That's a interesting question. Like, I have
an answer.
You go.
The Wii, because I hate the Wii remotes. For it to get my attention, there would need to be just regular freaking controls.
We include pseudo handhelds in this.
Are you saying you don't like the Switch?
No. Because I was Virtual Boy. I never owned it, but I went to a display unit at a
it
KB
needs to
Toys
not be migraine
out.
Inducing.
My God, yeah. Just the 2 or 3 minutes I played on that thing, it was just like, why are there 2 D-pads? And why is it hurting my head so much? And honestly, just port the games to the 3DS. I don't know why they never did that, because at least rescue Virtual Wario Land.
I think it does exist now. I think there's a team that worked on it, and like it's actually enjoyable.
Good.
In full stereoscopic 3D. I think that's like a thing.
And I know there've been like a lot of like third-party developments in terms of that. It's just kind of like, I think Nintendo just wants to completely forget about it. They just they really for like 5 minutes 10 years ago, they were kind of like goofing on the Virtual Boy, but it seems to me like they really don't. They don't want.
They're not going to do anything with it. It has such a limited library. There's no point to go back to it other than there's just the meme value at this point.
Yeah.
As for an actual answer, because Virtual Boy is so old hat, honestly, Xbox One and everything. Because I've never been an Xbox gamer, but One seems to be the worst, and there was just nothing on that system, exclusively on that system, that gave me any interest whatsoever. That was just a dead console, in my opinion.
I think,
kind of to reiterate that, because that's like mine too, is just like I have zero interest at all in touching a Microsoft console. There's
Yeah.
not like I know that the exclusives that they do have all come to PC within like 6 months or just in general,
Yeah.
and that kind of goes along with weirdly it's funny how we've changed lately. If you came to me 10 years ago, if you came to me during the Wii U era, and you asked me what consoles you'd have to own to play video games, I would say, well, you should own a PC that can maybe play some games. Probably own like, I don't know, a PS3, PS4, whatever one of those, and then own the Nintendo console if you like Nintendo.
Yeah.
Nowadays, in my opinion, all you need is a Switch and a PC. I don't even see a reason why you need a PlayStation anymore, because all those games do eventually come to PC.
Most of them.
Yeah.
Most of
And
them.
I just don't see, like, I don't own a PS5. It's the first Sony console that I'm skipping. And it's just because the only games I do want to play are like Spider-Man and like God of War, and they will eventually come to PC. So
Ragnarok actually has
fair.
a date for PC.
Yeah.
So that was announced
don't-
earlier this year.
My PC is
Really
not
feel it.
good enough for it, which is why the having a PS5 is
Sure.
nice
Mhm.
Yeah.
in that case. But now I'm getting into the aspect of, oh, cool. I want to play this certain game online. Tough luck. You need PS Plus. I'm not paying for PS Plus. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
It
To
gets
me, it has.
expensive. It's like
Yeah.
it's too many
I-
subscriptions.
I'm on a family plan with the Switch plus expansion pass, and that's like now it's like $20 a year, and that's like whatever. Sure, why not? But PS Plus, I'm on my own for $60 to $70 for the year. And I'm like, I had it for last year because I wanted to play Street Fighter 6 online, and I barely got a chance to do that. And like, I'm not doing another year. I'd love to
Yeah.
get it when I do that, but now I'm like, I upgrade my PC. I'm buying fighting games in either the Switch or the PC now. It's one of the two.
Yeah, I think like the PS5, I feel like this generation is just kind of a shame because we spent I mean, it came out during COVID. It was like prime lockdown. And so nobody could find it because everyone was doing gray market, like buffoonery, I guess is the best way to put it. And then the people who couldn't get it would then get upset when a new game would become a PS5 exclusive. So Sony and Capcom, for example, like with Resident Evil 8, they would constantly be like, oh, it's coming out for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. And then people would be like, what do you mean? Why can't I play it on PS4? I can't find a PS5. And so eventually all these console developers are like, okay, we'll make it for, all right. And so like the first 3 years of the PS5's lifespan, anything you wanted on PS5 could be bought on a PS4 as well. And so then all of a sudden, like everyone started buying PS5s and they're like, oh, this game doesn't have any exclusives on it. And I'm like, why do you think? The same people complained that they weren't getting it on PS4. Of course there are no exclusives on PS5. Like I happen to have a PS5 on launch day and I'm like, yeah, what did you want?
Yeah.
I've enjoyed my PS5. There are certain things that are nice about it, but it's not the most exciting system in the world.
No.
I think that's the issue. Like you have the nicer load times, and that's about its big claim to fame. Like the controller is cool. When you play Astrobot, the controller is cool, but that nobody takes advantage of it like those.
Yeah,
like,
there's
early games.
there's like 2 games maybe that has stuff like that, and I know a lot of people that turn that that would want to turn that off anyway. Like they don't like the
the shaking
like
or the resistance.
shaking. Yeah, the resistance is what I was thinking for the triggers, right? Because it makes it harder to push down.
Well, the resistance triggers can actually break. I've had to replace at least one of my controllers R2 trigger or the R2 button just because the spring inside just completely snapped. So that was one where I had to be like, okay, this isn't as cool, but I also felt like they were kind of copying what Xbox did anyway, so it's like, all right. Yeah, it's, you know, I like my PS5, but
do you think they're going to be pushing for power as much as this for the next generation, or have they kind of learned their lesson?
I'm like, what is Sony going
Power
to copy
is only
from the
so
others?
important. Power is only so important if you don't have any games to utilize it.
Yeah. I mean, I think they are going to try to. I think the reason why you start to see the controllers being a little bit more emphasized is because you can only go so far, and we are getting that law of diminishing returns. So we aren't seeing that big of a graphical leap between PS4 and PS5 like we did like PS3 and PS4, PS2, PS3. And so they are probably going to have to start looking at other ways in order to sell you on a console. And I also think that's potentially why like companies like Xbox and Sony in particular are just kind of like, whatever, like the x82 architecture on a PS5 will help make it so that we can put this on PC so that anyone can play it and be part of the PlayStation ecosystem. But yeah, it's a good question. A part of me is kind of thinking like, is Sony gonna try to copy something from Nintendo again? If so,
it is usually their MO.
Yeah.
Sony does that a lot.
They did though. They threw the portal. The portal's and you have a portal. You're the only person in the world,
dude,
that I've seen use the portal.
I love my portal. I love it. I
had no
dumped
interest.
on that thing for so long. I was like, this is so stupid. It looks so goofy. Whatever, I'll get it. And then like within the first month, I'm sitting here going, this is the best. Because I can just my PS5's right there, and that's where it stays. And so if I want to play games anywhere else in the house, the portal's there for me. And they just added the ability for you to log into hotel Wi-Fi. So I'm good. I'm good.
That's me with my Steam Deck. I love my Steam Deck.
It's funny because I was just about to mention the Steam Deck.
Yeah,
it's like,
that was my best purchase in the past year.
We've been using the Nintendo Switch. We've been playing games on this console for 7 years now, and it is a real remarkable thing. But my brain associates like, okay, I don't want to carry this thing around with me because this thing it can't play every game. It can play a lot of damn games. There's a lot of video games that can play it on this console, and it's really, really good experience. But my brain is like, okay, I could play even more games on my iPhone. So
you can
the question,
access your PS5 from your iPhone too. It's great.
Yes. So I've been thinking, okay, it's like, well, would I want a Steam Deck? Where does the Steam Deck fit into this? And it wasn't until I was at Throne Controllers Coliseum, and I saw Proton John's Steam Deck that has probably north of like 10,000 games on it. Like, I don't know how many games that man has on his Steam Deck. And I said,
you can make anything work on it.
This is the reason why people have this.
You can technically play your PlayStation games on it too, Andrew.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I mean, like you said, you can do it on.
And that's the thing. It's a emulation /
it's an everything
machine.
Yeah.
And that's
portable PC.
It's the same reason. In my mind, it's kind of like, well, why don't you have a Raspberry Pi?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like that guy.
Instead of getting like the
NES
mini
Classic,
consoles, back in the day.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason why I got the portal is because it was only $200, and
that's also fair. The Steam Deck is a lot more expensive. That is fair. That's
not a bad price.
Yeah. We should get into the actual episode, but first let's take a break because we need to set up all of our audio stuff so we can record our audio. And then when we come back, we're going to be doing our actual episode of DialogBOX, where we're going to be talking about 2024. So far, it's been fine, I guess. But we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hi, Dan.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting, fantastic, our first episode 50 of DialogBOX. Wow. This would be what the Link's Awakening issue if this were a Nintendo Power magazine. Yeah,
I'm amazed you know that.
That's a very good memory.
I was a very bored child. I had the 100th issue that I brought to like church a lot. And so
Nice.
I was just constantly reading that one and being like, I wish I had these issues. And now, 20 some odd years later, there they are. I'm your host, Laughing Boy LP, and I'm here with three very lovely guests. First off, new to the show, you can find him over at Good Vibes Gaming as well as Bitner Gaming on YouTube. We have Derrick Bitner. Hello.
Hey, thanks
How
for
you
having me
doing?
on.
Appreciate
I'm doing good.
The thing is like I've been trying to like for several months now. I was just kind of sitting here like, oh, I would really like to have like Derrick on, but I never really had sort of a way to like contact you, and then you contacted me about your podcast. So I was kind of like, that's an in. Well, there
I'm
you go.
constantly looking for guests because I'm so dependent on a guest. Like, can you be on? Can you be on? Can you be on? Just get on here.
I know that
Wrangling
feeling.
people is fun, isn't it?
It is 100%. I got exactly what I wanted out of this. Next off, we have streamer and content creator and shit poster extraordinaire. We have forestminish with us again. Hello.
I like that title. That is very good for me.
Yeah, I came up with it just now. Are you happy?
It's very good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for thanking me. And then finally, Jyggy's here. Hi, Jyggy.
Hello. I made it back. I'm here. You know, it's funny that you say that because I mentioned this before, but whenever a tweet gets more than 2 likes, I call it a Rebecca Stone.
Just 2?
Oh, it has to be more than 2, then it's viral, you know?
You had another good
that.
one yesterday or today or whatever it was.
It's doing okay. It's not a million, but it's doing good. It's
Okay.
good.
You know, they
I like
can't all be
causing
million.
drama
No, they
in the
can't.
Zelda world.
We're about to do the same in a couple of weeks, I guess.
Yeah. For context, the tweet was 2 hands from the Matrix, one with a blue pill, one with a red pill, and then it was the red pill was, would you rather have a Zelda 2 reimagining, and the blue pill was Link's Awakening, or I'm sorry, Link to the Past HD.
It's a good meme format for shit posting. I also
Yeah.
suggest putting multiple things on each pill to like really get them thinking.
Yeah.
You gotta put one that absolutely
It's tried
sucks,
and true.
but one that everyone loves, so that they'll go like,
I
that's
actually think
so
the choices were
hard.
pretty good. Like
They
I
were.
actually think
You did a good job.
If I
They
put
felt
Ocarina
pretty
of
even.
Time HD, no one would pick Zelda 2. No one. But
Right.
I with Link to the Past HD, then you have the people that are diehard, like they want is Link to the Past. But then you also have the other side of that fandom, which is, oh my god, if you touch Link to the Past,
it's already a perfect game.
Yeah, perfect game.
Whereas
Yeah, how
Zelda
dare
2
you.
could use some improvement.
But it means you have to play Zelda 2 again. Who knows if they'll even
Yeah.
improve it? It could just
Who
be the
knows?
same thing.
True.
Hasn't Yacht Club petitioned to be like they want to do a Zelda 2 remake?
I think I actually do remember that.
I would trust them
Yeah.
to do it.
I would too.
Yeah.
They're good. They're good.
Be really good.
hmm
Trying to think of who else would be good at Metroidvanias, because that's kind of one. Like kind of.
Mercury Steam.
Yeah, Mercury Steam got that one. That's
Hey,
that's
yeah.
a real solid one.
I don't really know what the
um,
art style I would want would be for that if they were going to redo Zelda 2. I don't know.
They'll just do the. They'll just do the.
Way Forward would
puppet.
also be a good choice.
Way Forward would be great.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on Double Dragon Neon 2. So.
I have a feeling you're gonna be waiting for a while.
What?
They're doing a lot of things with Double Dragon. None of it neon.
None of it neon, man. I mean, River City Girls is pretty good. I'll give them that. So they have a hit on their hands.
And you're getting playable Billy and Jimmy.
So good enough. Anyway, in case you guys are new here, just like Derrick, this is DialogBOX. It is a monthly podcast where I grab all the content creators you love to watch and force them to talk to me about video games for usually about an hour. You can watch the show live with video over at youtube.com/laughingboylp and even join the conversation in our live chat. Or you can get the audio only version by going to your favorite podcasting service and searching for DialogBOX, all one word, DialogBOX. May not be the same name after episode 50. If you want to support the podcast, you can either subscribe to the YouTube channel for free and chat with us during the live streams. And if you like the video, you can let us know by hitting that like button. and just leaving us a
You
nice
could do
little
it
comment.
right now.
You could
can
do
hit
this
like.
right now.
I am. I'm clicking it.
Slide right over.
Yeah, it's so free. It's free real estate. It's the freest way that you can help support the channel, or retweeting and stuff.
People who click the like button on this video are really cute.
I agree.
True.
And I can't even click the like button, so I'm just gonna be here just being ugly.
No.
You can also support the audio podcast by checking us out and rating us on places like Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any podcast that you like with a rating system. But today, we're going to be talking about 2024 again, because I had like a bunch of episodes that I had planned to do over the last 2 months, because the last episode was like, are video games dying? And then now we're just kind of like, well, they're not dead yet. Like, that's kind of what this episode is pretty much summing up for us.
Still kicking.
Yeah, we tried. We tried to kill him. God bless him.
It makes me think of Holy Grail. It's like, yes, you are.
Yeah. No, you'll be dead in a minute.
Get back down.
I feel happy. Yeah, so last month was Geoff Keighley's, I almost said the one I don't want to say on stream. Geoff Keighley's summer pool party. And we got a lot of very interesting announcements. I think it started off with a huge bummer, because Sony's State of Play was the very first thing. Does anybody even remember what was announced during Sony's State of Play?
Nope.
No.
God of War
And I think I
Ragnarok on
watched it.
PC. I saw it too, and I was just
Cool.
Yeah,
good for PC players.
yeah, good for them. I'm sure they're having a great time.
Actually, no, there is one thing. There was one highlight, and I love it. It was the thing that took over. I just thought of it. Astrobot.
Oh yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
That was the one good thing.
That is
'Cause that's the
true.
thing.
That was the
I think
winner.
everybody knows Astrobot. They just forgot it was at the State of Play.
yeah, because it was probably one of the two most talked about things, and I sincerely can't remember.
Monster Hunter. Now I'm thinking about it. I think the other one was Monster
yeah.
Hunter.
Oh, and Lego
But I don't play
Horizon.
Monster Hunter, so
Sony,
yeah.
again, doing their like 5-year stint of trying to make games for families and then just giving up when they don't sell.
We were gonna laugh. We were at GVG. We were like, all right, they just announced the new Zelda. Is Lego Horizon gonna come out around the same time as the new Zelda? Because let's make this 3 for 3. And I don't think it is.
Oh, I'm a known Horizon Zero Dawn hater.
Wow.
Yeah, it's true. So it's very interesting. I hope that they do release Lego Horizon at the same time. I think that would be very funny.
But it'll be on the Switch this time.
Yeah. But I don't know. I can barely remember what they even were coming out with.
Yeah.
Like what games that they're coming out with. But I think that Astrobot kind of fits in a weird other location, kind of in the world of like Crash Bandicoot and Sly Cooper, where Sony's looking for Mario again. It's their third time or fourth time looking for Mario. Like,
bring back Mario? Sly Cooper. There was nothing wrong with it. It ended on a cliffhanger.
Well,
but you know what I mean?
It keeps ending on a cliffhanger.
Like they keep trying to have a family-friendly mascot. Like, hey, PlayStation's for everyone, and I think PS2 has the most of like the Sony mascot, but Astro does truly feel like their last ditch. Like, if this doesn't work, they're done.
I mean, it's been interesting.
I mean, it is thankfully also a celebration of PlayStation, which they kind of need now, except they're kind of killing their legacy at the same time. I don't think Sly Cooper's ever coming back, at least not from the actual developers, because if I remember correctly, their I'm blanking on its name, but their samurai game,
Ghost of
Ghost of
Tsushima.
Tsushima, yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima. I think that one game sold better than the entirety of the sales of the entire Sly Cooper trilogy.
Listen, Derek. Sales aren't everything.
Sly Cooper.
Sometimes you just gotta sell with
Sly
your
Cooper,
heart.
but when every game takes 7 years to develop now,
Listen. Sly Cooper doesn't need to take 7 years to develop. They could have smaller
How
teams
Sony
make
that?
it.
They will want to make every little hair on Sly Cooper's tail to be
Oh,
individually rendered and
God.
move in different ways according to the
Listen.
wind, and just.
I just don't
I
think that Sly
know.
fits into Sony's like bubble right now. Like Astrobot is it takes
Yeah.
that slot. It takes the Mario
Yeah.
slot, you know?
We
Mario.
do have Ratchet and Clank, and I love Ratchet and Clank. I still think it's one of the best games on the PS5. But they also have Insomniac on how many other things, and again, these things all take a lot of time. So I think it's going to be a while until I see Ratchet and Clank again.
I mean, that's kind of the way that I've been feeling too, because like in the PS1 era, we had basically Crash Bandicoot and Spyro in the West.
Mhm.
Apparently, in Japan, Crash and Parappa were like the two big mascots for Sony. So they really wanted in on Parappa, even though they made one game on PS1, one game on PS2, and then just like, all right, we're done. But like in the PS2 era, you had so many different mascot type games, but I think the issue is that as we went through the 2000s, the mascot game just kind of died and was replaced by constant first person shooters and, you know, the World War II games that were kind of growing in the early to mid 2000s started gaining a lot more traction. And now it's like with the ability to create like these high fidelity type games, it's very easy for Sony to want to create something more dark, gritty, realistic, and it's working. So like you can and Spider-Man kind of sits in that in between because Marvel's not going to let that be rated M, but it allows
Right.
for a character that can kind of toe the line. It's that PG-13 franchise for them. I think that's a great sweet spot for Sony to be in. They don't have to have like rated E for everyone family style games. They don't have to be that system, but it is interesting when Sony every now and then is just kind of like, oh, here's a game for everyone. Like, here's Puppeteer. That didn't work. All right, let's not make any kid-friendly games for a couple of years. Astrobot, maybe this is the one. Lego Horizon, maybe that's the one. I don't know, but
Only because Lego Horizon's on Switch, like you said. So it's like, what? Ooh.
hey, that's gonna be
Well,
the one
that's
that
the thing
hits.
is like, how many kids play a PlayStation 5? I think that's the bigger issue because kids are, at least from my understanding, kind of still concerned with Fortnite, Minecraft. I guess
Roblox.
Roblox is in there. Yeah.
Mhm. And
Like,
YouTube.
yeah, and
That's
just,
true.
and just
Not-
YouTube.
not-
where
And
just
a
video
lot of
games.
them don't even
YouTube.
play Minecraft. They watch YouTube videos of Minecraft.
That's
remind-
right.
Yeah.
Minecraft's too
I
hard.
was shocked when I was grocery shopping the other day and I saw a kid actually have their Switch out playing it, like they were hanging out in the cart and actually playing a Switch and not on a phone.
Wow.
Not on like
What-
playing
what
games on a
was-
phone.
did
They
you see what,
actually
like,
had
what
their
they're
Switch with them.
playing?
Like, holy crap.
Most of the kids do have Switches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
From my
they-
experience working in a school, they do have Switches. A lot of them have PS4s, but they play Fortnite on it.
Yeah,
Right.
from my understanding is that like it's so much easier to play on phone just because everyone needs to have a phone now, and also the fact that like when we were young we didn't have that, but we had like smaller systems that could fit in our pocket. We had Game Boys, Game Boy
Boys.
Colors,
Yep.
and especially
And
when
that's-
Pokemon hit, like it hit our generation like a truck. So
We
like,
took that shit to the restaurants. We
Yeah.
took it to,
everywhere.
oh
The
my,
school,
Search.
yeah,
Everywhere.
everything.
my parents
And it-
heavily discouraged getting a Game Boy until they finally relented, and they were like, "This is the best decision we ever made."
Yeah.
It
it's
shuts them
Shut
up.
'em up for a
couple
Trust me,
hours.
You get them
Yeah.
involved, it is a happy
That's
day. It's like,
gold.
oh, thank God. And you
That's
know
why-
it's like good stuff.
That's why I truly feel like the Nintendo Switch Lite is the most powerful console on the market right now for
Yeah.
family.
It can be.
It is
yeah.
Right.
the like think of it this
It's
way.
perfect for kids.
If I don't have kids, I don't. But if I did, I would instantly get my kids a Nintendo Switch Lite because
Well,
the
yeah, I
fact
was gonna say the Switch Lite, especially. It's cheap. It's pretty
It's
durable
cheap,
considered.
durable. It can play any game they want. Like literally, like you want to play Pokemon, you got Pokemon. You want to play Fortnite, you can play Fortnite. You want to play Mario? Guess what?
Minecraft?
Mario. You want to play Minecraft? You got
Yeah.
Minecraft.
Do you want to watch YouTube videos of brain rot? You have the YouTube app.
YouTube app.
Yep.
It's perfect, and it costs very little. And I still get my television. I get my television. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
You're right.
powerful. That's why I don't see a reason why, kind of going what you were saying, Derek, I see no reason why a family would purchase a PlayStation 5 in the year 2024 when they could just get a Switch Lite or a Nintendo Switch, if that's a thing. You know, when you have a phone, why bother? At least with the Switch Lite, the argument is you don't have to worry about the phone because you have, you know, parental controls on the Switch Lite.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Moving forward from that, we did have a couple other announcements. A part of me is like semi struggling to think about like the keynote speech from Geoff, summer pool party, but like I also don't remember really enjoying it. We got more information. I think we got even more information about Monster Hunter, and then that just came and went. Was there anything from not just the keynote speech, but either the Microsoft conference, the Ubisoft conference, the Nintendo Direct, anything else from like that month of news that struck out to any of y'all?
Well,
So it's a loaded question.
Yeah, the Direct was obviously the highlight, but I'm trying to focus on Keighley's whole thing, and I can't even remember what they ended with.
Yeah, what was the one more thing from Geoff?
What was the big boy?
It was Monster Hunter.
That's what's sad about this whole thing.
I think Monster Hunter was penultimate. It was one more after Monster Hunter, I'm pretty sure, but I can't remember what it was. But I think it was an odd duck, not something that stands out too much.
I was about to say, I'm looking at this. Oh wait, this is 2024. Wow, oof. Yeah,
it's funny though, because like the fact that we have to look it up. I'm
Yeah.
just like,
I know,
okay,
right?
What
Didn't
happened?
we
leave
got
a
the
very
Among Us
lasting
animated
impression.
series. We got Civilization 7. Yeah, big hits.
Like, I remember his main thing that the only thing I remember is that he touched on the fact that the gaming industry is just in a rough spot right now. But he also
it felt like that was pulling teeth, getting him to recognize that.
Yeah, he was just like, he finally said, "Hey, this is happening."
I don't want to be a bummer.
I have a few of the games that are coming out, you know, that I'm sure we're gonna get to and we're gonna talk about, but like I know that they mentioned like the new Star Wars game that apparently no one likes. That's Ubisoft's big deal right now. Square is pushing their Dragon Quest 2D HD, but then also they don't want to talk about anything because Dragon Quest or they don't want Square Enix doesn't want to advertise anything because of Final Fantasy right now. So
Summer Game Fest 2024 ended with a new trailer for Phantom Blade Zero.
We had didn't they talk about Norman Reedus and the Funky Fetus too?
Yes.
Yes, they did.
I also was reminded of Outer Sloth, the Inner Sloth devs for Among Us, making their publishing company.
Nice,
They're gonna boost a lot of indie games. I love that.
I think
looking through here, we had some fighting game news for like Street Fighter 6 and Fatal Fury. Of course, Monster Hunter Wilds. They had a little bit for Sonic Shadow Generations.
Right.
I forgot about this, but hey, we got the Power Rangers Rita's Rewind beat 'em up.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of. I remember that being a highlight, but looking through the rest of these, I'm like, what are these games? A lot of the time.
Yep.
Yeah, and we got Skate trailer that was literally just, again, by the way, maybe this is coming out someday, we don't know.
One day.
And then we got the Night Springs expansion, which came out the day after the keynote, which I enjoyed. I thought Alan Wake 2 is way better than the first game by a country mile, especially if you are interested in survival horror games. Like the Alan Wake 2 was, especially if you like the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes and 4, Alan Wake 2 was a really nice game to play.
I've heard really good things about that one.
Yeah, it deserves the praise.
I want to check it out.
But then yeah, it's just kind of like, Phantom Blade Zero, okay, cool. I think what really kind of is for me what I should probably be better at is if I'm seeing a new IP, I shouldn't just kind of not care about it. But I also need something about that new IP to interest me.
Yeah.
And when I see Phantom Blade Zero, I think there's just so many games that have the same look and feel to them right now that it just didn't really register it to me like at all. And I just kind of didn't really care.
That's my main problem right now with games, and it's why I've been branded as Nintendo boy.
Yeah.
Because to me, yeah, you know, I do like Mario and I do like Zelda and I play a lot of that stuff. But in reality, it's just lately it feels like every single video game looks and feels exactly the same. It's just every trailer's the same. It's just draining. So then I know it's like okay, I'm a Nintendo fanboy or whatever the heck you want to call it. But when I do see a game that's like super exciting or something, then yeah, I get excited about it, but I also forget about anything that's not fun and different, you know? Like for example, I think this was a game that came out in 2023. There was the Splatoon PlayStation game about the foam.
Oh yeah,
I think
Foam
it was
Stars.
Oh yeah, Foam
Foam
Stars
Stars.
from Square.
When was the last
that
time
died.
you heard about Foam Stars?
Well, it came out. We don't have to talk
Sure.
about it anymore.
Much.
No, we
Yeah.
don't have to talk about it anymore. But I remember that game.
I mean, it looked nice, but like other, I think it was bad timing on their part, at least for me, because I was already just getting Splatooned out. Like, I really don't think I'm gonna buy Splatoon 4. Like, I just have no interest in Splatoon anymore. I think Splatoon 3 killed it.
I'm back on my Splatoon shenanigans.
I know.
It's sad.
the new Amiibo gotcha.
Yeah.
That drives me up a wall too.
They did.
I had I think unironically, I know this is again another 2023 video game thing, but the Splatoon DLC was just such a breath of fresh air for that franchise for me, and also just gameplay wise. Again, maybe I'm Jyggy and I like Nintendo and roguelikes.
Well,
but like
I feel like it comes with the content creator starter pack because Nintendo just naturally gets. He's laughing because he knows it's true.
okay, but then also we can talk about a game that did come out this year that just came out last week that I also deem as part of content creator starter pack, which is Nintendo World Championships.
Oh yeah.
That game is the definition of Nintendo content creator starter pack to the point where I don't think anybody bought it that isn't a content creator.
I mean, I saw a lot of content creators get that thinking, oh, cool, I can race my friends, and then realize,
Nope,
oh,
you can't.
there's no
you
live
can't.
online, which is something they clearly said, but nobody remembered that.
I can't wait to set some world records in this game. Oh wait, there's no online leaderboards.
And I'm the
Yeah,
only one who will
I'll be-
know.
From the outset, I'm like, I am not interested in this game. This is so not for me.
Yeah.
I am skipping it. But as far as Splatoon goes, I really
Derek, you said it. You said but.
did it.
Yeah.
But
You said but you're still gonna probably play the game, right?
no, I'm not. I have no intention.
Right.
I have no
But
intention.
I'm sure whoever did buy it.
Yeah, that sort of thing. I was more bringing it back to Splatoon because I really think they might give it a bit because it feels there's usually a little bit of a lull between the Splatoons, even though like they've announced that last one. I really do think it's either going to be a little bit of a rest. It won't be first year on Switch successor, or maybe a spinoff in that same vein to give it
I would love a Splatoon spinoff.
like an actual.
Yeah,
Adventure,
honestly.
full-on adventure, single-player focus thing. I think that would flesh out the lore. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
If
I
they
just
did
want more
that, I
side
would
order.
actually buy that.
I want more side order. That game was so much fun. I want side order maybe with friends. That'd be a lot of fun. I don't know. Side order was I talked about this. I want side order, but it's a Metroid game. Like I want Metroid actually, like Metroid the franchise.
So like actually exploring
Oh.
the area versus just having the hub.
No, I'm talking about
he's talking about
Metroid.
a Metroid game
Oh.
that is like side order.
Yeah, think of it that way. Like each run, you build Samus in a different way, and you have to do boss
Dead
gauntlets.
Cells.
Yes,
Yeah,
but not
basically,
side-scrolling. I'm talking Prime. I want a Prime version. You know,
Ah, okay, that'd be cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can see
like
that.
you can. I mean, there'd be like you start at Zero Suit, and you can like maybe build your way up in full Zero Suit if you wanna, if that's like a route, or you build the armor in a different way. I just think that the Metroid Prime franchise would benefit from something just like Side Order.
I was
Literally
gonna say do I have the game for you? It's called Returnal. It came out on the PlayStation 5. It
Ooh.
was a launch title, and it's actually really hard. But
I've heard people like that one though.
yeah,
I
if
have
you really
played it.
like that like Twitch action gameplay, it's actually pretty fun. Yeah.
As far as roguelikes, I've actually heard that the Turtles one, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one that just came out, is actually pretty decent too.
I do want to try that. I just need to get some time to have people to sit on the couch with me now that they guaranteed couch co-op.
Mhm.
Go
As
ahead.
far as the Xbox conference, I personally forgot about it because I was kind of cold on it, but I do remember now that people were like, Xbox is looking amazing. It's so good. It saved all these Game Fest. It's so much better than everything else. And I'm like, good for you. I mean, I've never been an Xbox gamer to that degree, but honestly, what they showed is just like, yep, there's the typical Xbox lineup.
My favorite thing from the Xbox lineup was not an Xbox exclusive. They announced the next game in the Life is Strange series, Double Exposure. That is I'm
Yeah.
so excited for that.
I'm seeing more
It's like
trailers
one of
about
my
it
favorite
too.
games. Yeah, it's the original protagonist from the first game, but like 10 years in the future. Like she's an adult now.
I'd be
So I'm
interested
very
to play
excited.
that. I kind of haven't really played Life is Strange since Before the Storm. And
Okay.
but I might come back because I actually liked Max as a protagonist. I just didn't
You
like
should, yeah.
Chloe as a
Well,
protagonist.
Chloe won't be in this one, so
Nope,
you
she's
will
not.
just have Max and some new characters.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of agree with you there too. I think the other thing was like I watched the direct. I watched Xbox's conference and I was like, okay, this is a pretty solid lineup, and it's almost all from the studios that they bought, so they're trying to get their return on investment finally. But then I think a lot of people were talking about how like, oh, well, a lot of this is just going to be on PC. And it's weird because like you wouldn't think that takes the bite out of it, but it kind of does a little bit because Xbox seems to really trying to be strolling away from. In fact, if you have what is it, Roku, I think, or is it no? It's either Roku or Fire, but one of those services you now can like play Xbox Game Pass off of. So Microsoft is now finally moving towards a console-less ecosystem where you can just play through like the Game Pass app. So it's kind of interesting. It's like, does this make me want to own an Xbox? No. Does this make me excited for video games that at some point I might be able to play? Sure.
Yeah.
Do you think that Microsoft's gonna axe hardware at some point?
Yes.
No. Well, okay, at some point when the heat death of the universe occurs, that might stop them a little bit. But I think it's the idea that Microsoft will always want to give the option. But I think what you'll start to see is that they're not going to be as technically impressive as
That's fair.
The Series X or something.
They'll have
They'll
more
just-
kind of online requirements to play.
Yeah. Because I feel like the
streaming.
S
have
sold.
at least
The
one
just
more
the S
generation in
thing.
them, but the tricky thing with Xbox is that they've kind of taught their audience not to buy their games, whether it's whether for their console or just in general, thanks to Game Pass. And Microsoft is starting to realize the limits of a streaming service that many other companies are also realizing. Which, cool, we've reached our upper limit. Oh crap, that's not enough. We're not making enough money, especially since we just spent how many billions of dollars acquiring Activision.
Yep.
And now we've taught our people to not buy the games from Activision.
Yeah.
Or just in general that we
If
own.
I
Because
was,
it'll come to Game Pass.
his name Matt Booty, is that his name? I think
Matt
Booty.
Booney.
Matt,
So yeah.
Wait, I thought it was Matt Booty.
Yeah, Booty.
Yeah,
It
Matt
is.
Booty. If I was Philip Spencer and Matt Booty, the kids over at Microsoft, I think that their biggest misstep was going the Netflix approach. And I think that what they really should have done is double down on Microsoft Store, having that be a true Steam competitor on Windows.
Yeah.
And then offered kind of, this is, again, I'm not a business guy. I play Pokemon. I would have gone the subscription route with individual publishers, meaning that you, just like how Prime does this, where on Amazon Prime, on Prime Video, you can get a subscription to HBO, you can get or Max, I should say, you can get a subscription to the Paramount. You can add on to your Amazon subscription that you pay every year or every month or whatever, these extra channels that are still full of all of the content that you could get on the externals. But what I would have done is I would have done these subscriptions that are not Game Pass, but like a Bethesda Pass. And the idea behind the Bethesda Pass is that you have access to all the Bethesda games for $5 a month. Also, you get, you know, some currency in their online games. Same deal with any other publishers. But the idea,
so you're gonna
is,
ask them to have like 4 or 5 different subscriptions to get access to everything?
Yeah, you're asking for premium cable.
I'm asking for premium cable. But the idea is that you also would be able to, if you like a game, you could buy it. And that's it kind of goes in a sense where they actually hide purchasing video games on the Xbox app nowadays on PC. It's weird. Like, I wanted to buy Tunic because Tunic came out first on a PC on the Xbox app. I wanted to buy that. I had to go through an external store and enter in a code on like this hidden web page. I don't know if they made that easier, but that was what I had to do. It was really weird.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just I think what's happening is that Microsoft is hitting that point where they realize that game development is taking way too long. We all know that. But they are trying to do the Netflix model, but with Netflix, they have the means to create content very quickly. If they're waiting on Stranger Things 5 for another 5 years, then they have the ability to do like a Love is Blind season. Like, reality TV is very quick and cheap and easy to make, and it doesn't cost them anything. Documentaries, they don't cost anything to make for them.
How much is it cake cost, really?
Exactly, like these game shows and things like that. Microsoft doesn't have that because anybody can go to any other service and put the same games on those services. And so Microsoft's only route forward is all of these exclusives that they can buy from these studios that cost them billions of dollars. And then they're like, okay, you need to pump stuff out now. And we need to have content all the time. Because if we don't have content all the time, people aren't going to re-up their subscription. So the subscription service ultimately will hurt them in the long run. I don't know how long Game Pass is going to work as a viable model, but I don't think that means
just get a price increase as well.
It did.
It just went up, and like they removed like that day one stuff from the lowest tier. So it's like already they're like, I gotta tighten that belt.
Yeah, they've already removed day one, which kind of defeats the purpose of Game Pass in my opinion, because that's like Netflix saying you can't have any of our new stuff for an extra month.
Yep.
Like, imagine Netflix doing that. Who would have to be so drunk at the wheel at Netflix to basically be like, you want Pokemon Journeys? You're gonna have to wait another month on top of the month you already had to wait because Europe's had it forever. Yeah, it's just I think I hope Microsoft is finally seeing that like this isn't working, but to answer that earlier question of like, are they still going to make consoles? I think so. It's just not going to be the same as what we were expecting, like generation over generation. Just to kind of move things forward, we haven't really talked about the Nintendo Direct, but I think we should just maybe give it a very, very brief rundown. I think a lot of people are very excited about some of the announcements that came out of that. We had Mario and Luigi Brothership. Or I won't say Brotherhood because I like Full Metal Alchemist, but we had that. We had Splintered. We had the Turtles game. Actually, I think that was from the indie. And then we also had Lego Horizon for the Switch, which I thought was great.
And don't forget Zelda Echoes of Wisdom.
We finally get a playable Zelda in The Legend of Zelda. Not even Hyrule Warriors. No, Hyrule Warriors can obviously say that, but
Zelda's Adventure exists.
Zelda's Adventure does exist.
Yes.
You would know. You played it.
Andrew, I feel like out of all of the ones from last month, the Switch should have had the worst direct, considering it's in, the final year. We're supposed to be wrapping things up, getting ready for the Switch 2. And it was better than it had any right to be, and had more games. And of course, I'm a Nintendo person. I would naturally be more interested in these games anyway. But I feel like just the overall vibe is that it had more new first-party announcements to get excited about than anyone else did.
I think honestly,
Yeah.
I'm sure if you're like a hardcore gamer, you probably looked at both Microsoft and Nintendo like these were obviously way better than what Sony was doing. But yeah, it's Nintendo's Direct should have been Sony's State of Play. Because we're on the last the last year of the Switch. I don't even want to say hopefully. The Switch has been out longer than any other Nintendo console, I think, before having a new one come into the market.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what this has proven is that Nintendo was better having not split up their handheld and their console divisions, I guess. Because obviously it's created a lot of content for the system over time. And in people in chat is just kind of like Metroid Prime 4 finally got an actual trailer with an actual at least year that it's coming out in. Yeah, how do you guys think this is supposed to be the last year of the Switch?
There's a new Mario Party coming out.
We're getting a damn new Mario Party.
Where it looks like they finally took the lessons, got new boards, old boards, great stuff there. It's has a mix.
They could have made that DLC for Superstars, but they're just like, here's a new game.
Yeah, I like the idea of them doing a Mario Kart thing where here's some new boards and here's a few old boards. It's a nice mix. It helps increase the amount of boards you get, because rather than typical 5, we now have 7.
It also shuts everybody up. Everybody, it makes everyone be quiet.
So true.
Now everybody that wants new Mario Party gets new Mario Party, and everybody that wants Western World, we're getting Western World. Let's go. That's gonna be the same thing with the mini games. So
yeah, right. They didn't even I don't think it would be as effective during the Direct or anything like that. But I gotta say, their marketing of Emio was damn near brilliant.
That was crazy.
Right?
But just have this weird thing like, what is this? And it gets the memes going in for a week, and all of a sudden here it is, and surprise, Famicom Detective Club is back. It's like Nintendo is willing to take these risks on because they're not spending as much. It's a visual novel. You're not spending a ton of money, but here you go. Here's something weird to hold you over. And I think that's the brilliance of the last year of the Switch. It's just let's get small and weird. We've already been successful, so why not?
It's my motto, really.
It's really I was talking about this the other day. It's so weird because they're doing both the big ending and the small ending on the Switch. The Switch is ending kind of with a bang, but also chill in a way.
They're not ending in a whimper I feel like a lot of consoles do.
Yeah, we're not
like a lot of Nintendo consoles do.
Yeah.
Those last years of certain Nintendo consoles are awful, but you can see the transition into the successor where they're these are not taking a lot of resources, so you can expect them to have something good for that first year.
I think a lot of people are even expecting Tears of the Kingdom to be that one Zelda game that was just going to get delayed to the point where it was going to be on both systems.
It could have been. It easily could have been.
Easily could have. But I think that the big thing is yes, this year when I'm thinking about Nintendo this year, we've not had absolutely bonker video games, but we're getting a lot of really, really awesome morsels, really, really good morsels. Even games like Mario versus Donkey Kong, which people played for. I'll use me as an example. I played it one stream and I said, I love Mario versus Donkey Kong. Didn't play it anymore. And we've had games we have the Nintendo World Championships that feels a very niche audience, but it does fill that void. There are new games that are coming out. Luigi's Mansion 2, which is a 3DS up-res.
I think most people have forgotten about it, but another code at the beginning of the year, another example of a smaller niche game getting a bit more attention.
Yeah. I mean, this is very much this almost does feel like a victory lap in a way, because these aren't, I mean, other than maybe Metroid Prime 4, and we'll see what happens with that, because I know the rumor mill is going on with that one.
That's not on Switch. I
I think it's on both.
I'd be willing. I'd bet money that it's gonna be one of those both games. But then you have to consider, like, is the Switch 2 gonna be backwards compatible, and what, it's that PS4 to PS5 transfer. It's like, can we buy Metroid Prime 4 and it'll just one cartridge for both systems, and we get like the Switch 2 version if you get it on a Switch 2. Or plug it into a
whole nother podcast. Switch 2 is a whole nother podcast.
You could talk about that.
I could.
If you want my mini opinion, I'm actually really hoping that they do the spec bump. Like, I'm talking big spec bump, and then there's little things with like the controller or gimmicks where because I know that there's some leaks out there that they were talking to developers about how, like, they have Breath of the Wild, and Breath of the Wild, just the same game, is running at, full 60 at 1080p with higher draw distance, all on this new console. So there is a world. I don't think there is a world, because in reality it's Nintendo, and we know Nintendo likes to double dip sometimes. But there is a possible world where they pull a new 3DS on it, where some games, like say Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, they get to basically re-release, even though it's the same exact game, and it comes out and it's like, hey, if you play it on Switch, you get to play the game. It's great.
It will happen.
You get to play it on Switch. But then if you play it on Switch 2, look at this. 4K.
If you play Metroid Prime 4 on the Switch 2, the gimmick is that Samus will pop out of the console and punch you in the face.
True.
Yeah. We only have to look at, like, the best-selling game on the Switch. It's Mario Kart 8. They made a Mario Kart 8 available, added an OK battle mode, and then years down the line added a bunch of new courses, and it is the highest-selling. I think half of all Switches have Mario.
Mario Kart 8. I think it's over half of the units available on that are currently out in the world have Mario Kart 8.
I believe it.
A family gets Mario Kart, gets a Switch, they're gonna get Mario Kart. It's just what's gonna happen.
And sometimes they get more than one. I had a student tell me that they were getting Mario Kart for a second time because their dog ate their first copy.
Bummer.
Yeah, stuff like that can happen. So it's just so innocuous, and then the amount of resources Nintendo spent on that game has to be minimal at the very least, because it's just asset reuse for the battle mode for the most part. And then the new stages probably had some money in them, and I was able to play them thanks to the Switch expansion pass.
The new stages were done by the people that did the Mario Kart Go app.
Yes,
and I think a few of them are. So they had a secondary developer that they probably got for big cheap, because they said, hey, do you want to make real Mario Party or real Mario Kart? So they got them for cheap, and they are just reaping the rewards on that game. And it's funny because this would be a whole nother podcast. But do you really think we need a new Mario Kart? Can they really make one that's better?
Well, of course they do. They need one to play on the new system.
But, like,
I didn't think that there could be a better Mario Kart than Mario Kart Wii, and then 8 came out, and, like, it was obviously so much better. And I'm just so bored. I've been playing this game for 11 years now?
Yeah.
I'm done.
I think that's the reason. It's getting people to rebuy it. Yeah, you already got that audience. You've hit it. Like,
I will spend $70 for a new one.
Exactly. I don't think, like, you have the Switch successor, but how many Switch successor owners are going to rebuy the game? It's a difference between the Wii U version of Mario Kart 8 to the Switch version. Nobody had a Wii U, but now everybody has a Switch. You're not going to get those rebuys the same way around. So you need a new game.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if Nintendo does try to do something along the lines of like what Sony has done with PS3 to PS4. They were like, here's a bunch of, like, PS4 games that we know or PS3 games on PS4 now. We know you didn't have a PS3, so here they are. And then in the PS4 to PS5 transition, they were like, we know even fewer of you, but there's still a number of you that didn't play all these PS4 games. Here's 20 of them for free. So I'm curious to see if Nintendo will try to, do they have, like, a lineup of games that they would want to do during the first year? And are we looking at them? Like, is Echoes of Wisdom going to have a Switch and a Switch 2 version? Maybe a bunch of these games will have multiples SKUs when the Switch 2 comes out.
I honestly think the only one will be Prime 4 because I'll be honest, we've heard nothing about the next Mario, 3D Mario. Everybody expected an Odyssey 2. I will bet bottom dollar that there is a Mario launch title for the Switch successor.
Yeah.
It makes
A
sense.
3D Mario launch title for the first time in I think since Sunshine? No, not even Sunshine. Since Mario 64.
Yeah.
That will be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. A 3D Mario could kick us off. I mean, with the Switch, like the Switch had Zelda, and then there was like the slow trickle of a game coming out each month for a while, which I loved, by the way. I was big with that, but I know the Switch struggled with games when it came out. Like that's why ARMS existed, or Mario Kart I think was April, and that was
April or May.
April. So March, and then March was all Zelda and.
Don't forget Pokemon Legends ZA will come out the first year, and that'll be an exclusive, and that is a console seller. Not launch, but launch year. System seller.
Pokemon will definitely still be on Switch, not the successor, just because they tend to wait to get to the new system.
I don't think so.
Really do.
I think they'll want it to sell consoles. I think that's why they're making it next year instead of this year.
They don't want the DS issue that they ran into when the 3DS came out, where they were launching Black and White 2, and everyone thought it was a 3DS game, but it's not.
Pokemon fans will come out for it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They'll hate it.
There are people that buy a Nintendo console just for Pokemon and nothing else.
Also, I think that Legends is one of those games that now Pokemon fans have really, really high expectations for. And it's funny because like when I look at Pokemon now, I'm drained. I'm old. I'm tired. I'm here to play Pokemon. Okay.
You got that wheel.
I have zero expectations when it comes to Pokemon. Like that is like the next generation. But Legends, in my opinion, was the best Pokemon game in a whole decade.
Yeah.
So when they're announcing the next version of that, when you put that word Legends in front of it, now I'm ready. Now I'm expecting a game that is going to be fun and not the way we've had with other Pokemon. I'm not saying Pokemon games are not fun. I say that as I am a Pokemon creator, but you know what I mean? I have higher expectations for that.
And they didn't rush it out either. They're taking their time with it.
I fully expected
for the first time ever.
I fully expected us to see another Legends trailer and then them to say it's coming out in like November. It's been I think, what is it? Scarlet Violet, even the DLC came out I think over a year ago now. I think
so, yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing that it was
It's
delayed,
crazy.
but
yeah. So you're right, they are taking their time with it.
Yeah, so
nice to see.
All that to say that it's very clear that we've got some things that are coming out at least sometime in 2025. I kind of want to go back to 2024 a little bit, and especially with everything that we've just discussed with all the announcements and all the trailers and all the fun news that we've had. What was the most exciting thing for you throughout that Summer Games Fest?
Zelda.
I was about to say. I see your mouth moving.
Zelda Echoes of Wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And Life is Strange Double Exposure.
I was gonna say, yeah.
That was leaked though. Like we knew that was coming because that whole game had been leaked, its existence. But Echoes of Wisdom caught me very off guard for a new top-down Zelda.
I'm so optimistic, very, very, very excited about Echoes of Wisdom. I really love everything about it, and I can't wait to see what Grizzo has been up to because they've been cooking. They've been cooking since, I guess, Miitopia was their last video game, but like I think they've been working on this for a minute. So
yeah,
yeah, they've been cooking.
Mario and Luigi Brothership for me. Like I'm excited for Zelda as well, but as a Mario and Luigi fan, I thought that series was mostly dead. Like I knew it had the possibility of coming back. Because Nintendo obviously still owned it, but so it had a chance of coming back, but it just seemed superfluous. But to see Nintendo come out for every aspect of their Mario RPG series is like mind blowing. And I wondered like, oh, maybe we'll get a Partners in Time remake. Instead, here's a brand new game, and it looks wonderful and a true extension of what Superstar Saga started with, and that's just so exciting as a Mario and Luigi fan, because for the longest time I considered Mario and Luigi better and more consistent than the Paper Mario series. And to still get a new one and have that art style, it's just, oh, I'm excited.
It also just makes no sense. Like that's when I saw that, I was like, what is going on here? Because we did just get TTYD remake, which
Yeah.
is also, can we just talk about how some sort of divine thing happened that we have 1,000-year door
Suddenly
remake?
Nintendo listened.
What happened? Who was knocking on Shiggy's door for every night for 7 years saying, hey, or 20 years saying, hey, make this. But then not only that, but then we also had a game that I also never, ever, ever thought we'd ever get a remake of or a re-release or even a mention of, which is Super Mario RPG. What is going on that we have all these Mario RPGs? So the fact that Mario and Luigi are back in a sense that it is now no longer tied to the 3DS or tied to the DS franchise. And it does look great. It does look great. It's like, what is going on here with Nintendo?
That's the hat trick of RPG.
This is the direct result of Nintendo's been heavily investing in the next generation. The next generation has nostalgia for the games that we all love. And so they're finally having somebody champion it. It's like, so, hey, what if we do this game? Oh, that sold really well. You know, if that did really well, maybe this game as well.
Yeah.
Or maybe how about this? And it just seems like, it really does seem like the new guard is starting to put their foot in the door and really ready to take over and have that next set of games to come in, while still being, of course, led by Aonuma, Miyamoto, having that sort of design mentality so you know what you're working with, what it means to be a Nintendo game. But I think that is the core of it. It's just the new guard is taking over and they have nostalgia for what we have nostalgia for.
I agree.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about, but yeah, it's we've been trying to knock on that door for such a long time, to the point where like I never would have thought that Mario RPG was gonna get a remake. I was shocked. But
we
also,
all were wondering, when is it coming to Nintendo Switch Online? When are they adding it to the service? And then it's like
You're never
every
gonna believe
time they
this.
announced new Super Nintendo games, it was never Super Mario RPG. Well, little did we know they were cooking that. Chrono Trigger next, please.
Well, like, and on that note, like Square has been very much solid on like, hey, a lot of the stuff that we released between like 94 and 2000, maybe we should just bring those back, because we've seen like, you know, Chrono Cross got the Radical Dreamers edition. Legend of Mana got a really nice HD remake. The Mana series is suddenly back. Romancing Saga 2 got announced last month. Like, all of these games from all of these other franchises that are not like the A-tier Squaresoft franchises are coming out and or getting remakes. So it's kind of like, okay. I mean, we had Live Alive last year, right? Was that last year or 2 years?
2 years ago.
But even then, it's like the HD 2D stuff is allowing for a lot of like Super NES 16-bit, 32-bit classics to make their return. And on that note, the one game that I'm looking forward to the most is Dragon Quest 3, 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, fair. That's right up there with me as well. These are great games, and to see them modernize for people, I think this might be our best chance for this series to finally explode in the America, because 11 definitely got the door open where it got people talking. But I think having this style, and people talking about the legacy of these games, I think it's a good chance for Dragon Quest to finally take over. And if they do 5 next, because 5 is always lauded as the Dragon Quest game. It's 3, 5, and 11 that always gets raised, and 8 as well. That raised up as like the best.
8's the PlayStation 2 one, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that one's good. King something?
King Trode.
Journey of the Cursed King.
But
yeah, good game. Good video game.
I think that was the first one I really played through, other than the first one. Like, I played the original on NES and then played 8 on PS2. I love that one so much. I wound up finishing that one on 3DS as well. But yeah, there are still some Dragon Quest games, especially the Zenithia trilogy, that are just locked to older consoles that are really expensive. So like, it'd be great to see 4 through 6 on the Switch, or
think
any
they did
successors.
4 and 5 on DS too. I think
So-
They
it
did
was
4, 5, and 6 on DS,
Yep.
and then
Yeah.
7 and
Mhm.
7 and 8 got 3DS.
Mhm.
9 has never gotten re-released. It's on DS. That has a lot of love for it because it's sort of its first experiment with multiplayer.
Yep.
So there's a lot of like you
9
can team up
is-
with friends and take on
Yeah.
these other dungeons, and
It's an interesting thing because
that back.
my experience with the Dragon Quest franchise, I started with 9 and I freaking
Mhm.
loved 9. I played the crap out of 9. And then
You-
because I started looking for like, oh, I've not played any of these other games and they just were not available. It just does not exist. And then I found a copy of 8 broke out my PS2 and was like, oh, okay, this is really good too. What's going on? And then
Mhm.
I did not hear from the franchise until 11, and so it was just that's what happened. You know, I know that the 5 and 4, 5, 6 came out on DS, but I just didn't. I don't know why I didn't. I think I saw them in Nintendo Power and was like, all right, maybe not, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Looked a little too old at the time,
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
probably for you. You'll likely love, if you like 9, you'll love 3 because
Yeah.
9 is basically an extension of what 3 does.
Mhm.
Because you have your hero and you get to choose what classes your party is. Go for it.
6 does that a lot too. It's just that, you know, you have to find a copy of it that is not terribly expensive because
I am very grateful I have all those games physically.
Yeah. I pre-ordered 5 because I knew I wanted it, so I feel good about that one. So
For sure.
I didn't expect the conversation to go in the direction that I did, but so this question probably should have been asked first. But what have you guys been playing in 2024, and what's your favorite game so far of 2024? I'm just gonna start this one and say it was Rebirth. It was 100% Rebirth. I mean, I think there's only 2 games of 2024 I've actually finished. One of them is RZ, and the other one is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oh yeah, Urzet came out this year.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Thought that was last year. I have not finished it yet, but I've been playing Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door for the first time. I had the game since it came out on GameCube, and I
Mhm.
tried it as a kid and didn't get very far. I was not very much of an RPG. There's a lot of playing this now. There's a lot of reading in the first chapter, the prologue chapter, and like.
Mhm.
I didn't want to do that as a kid. Like, I just wanted to get into the action. So that's probably what turned me off from playing it, but I'm really enjoying it now. I can see why it is such a beloved game. It is one of Nintendo's best games, I can tell. I really enjoyed playing the Splatoon 3 Side Order DLC. I know, Jyggy, you talked about that one a little bit. I love Splatoon's DLC. It's better than the story that comes with the game, like the base game, the base story between Octo Expansion and Splatoon 2 and Side Order and Splatoon 3. This is so good. It's really, really good. And it's replayable. I'm still playing it every once in a while. And then a couple indies. Questmaster is the Zelda Dungeon Maker that I'll never have. I've been playing that. Little Kitty Big City is like Stray Light. And
yeah.
I want to shout out also the Top Racer collection. Did anyone play Top Gear on the Super Nintendo?
I did not.
They
I've
put
heard of
those
it, but I
games
never played
into
it.
a collection, and I got my nostalgia fill with that.
Very nice.
So I have a weird 2024 is weird. Again, it's like I play Zelda. That's what I do. I just play Zelda and I play Pokemon, and I have not played a new video game in whatever. I don't. What's a new video game? But I will say that this year, when I really thought about it, I was like, okay, what's a video game that I really enjoyed, that I played a lot of, and it was Helldivers. Helldivers when it came out.
I've heard that a
Oh
lot.
my god, I was obsessed. I loved every aspect of it. I actually think it truly is a success, and I think that Sony knows it too. I haven't touched it in months, but I really enjoyed the aspect of really like being like feeling like I was part of a grander nonsense.
Yeah.
They did such a damn good job with that. Other video game that I played a lot of, but I've also fallen off on, is Hades 2 beta came out.
Oh, yeah.
I love Hades 2. I ended up playing it for like a lot, and I just stopped. It just happened. I went back to playing other games. And then the only other game that I've been spending a lot of time in, but like not a lot of time in, has been Supermarket Simulator. I've been having fun with that game too.
I've been hearing a lot about that one. Like,
yeah,
You do crowd
it's
control
fun.
with that?
Yeah, I do. I do
Yeah.
crowd control with it.
Oh.
It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of comedy in it, and honestly, it's one of those games that, again, is it a content creator friendly video game? Would a normal person like to play it? Maybe not. But I'm not normal. I like to talk to chat and open up my Jig Mart in do
love
all
that.
kinds of dumb stuff. So, but it's that those have been the only games. The only other game I played a lot of, and it felt like almost like I was forced to play a lot of it, is Pal World.
oh yeah,
we
got
were
that
just
one this
talking
year.
about Pal World, the game that also had a major skyrocket for about a month and now we've made it to the point where corporations noticed back then that Pal World was popular. And so now they're like, we really want to make some sort of merch or something. We got to get involved with Pal World. So now Pal World itself has absolutely no like new content coming out for it, and nobody really cares. But since the kids liked it 6 months ago, or not 6 months, 5 months ago or whatever, Sony is like, oh, the corporations have finally caught up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nobody expected it, so it's like, oh crap, I got to do this. But then also, it's past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of time to do something.
It's like when corporations figured out MySpace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd already moved on to Facebook.
I've definitely not been able to like pick up a lot of new games this year. But I did get the chance to play and beat Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Great Metroidvania, really top quality stuff. Getting even more support. I'm probably not going to play that new stuff they're bringing out because the core bit was just fun. But I don't feel I need to go back to it. Been loving Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Finding time to play it has been a trick. I've been left off at Costa del Sol for months now.
Wow.
I need to get back to it. I want to because it is my game of the year right now. I love it to death. I just need to go back and play it, but I've not finished a lot. I also got a small taste of Unicorn Overlord via the demo, and that's also fantastic. Like, holy crap. It's just shocked me with the quality. Like, it's vanillaware, but it's also like the concepts they're putting forth is just simply a lot of fun. So I'd like to pick that at some point. The game that's been recently taking up my time though, and I've just been really enjoying is Final Fantasy 14 Dawn Trail.
Oh really?
Because I'm a dirty Final Fantasy 14 player, and I'm finally content current for the first time, so I'm getting to go through this. I'd say with my friends, but not really because they were all able to take off from jobs and whatnot and beat it within the first week. Meanwhile, I'm like, crack away at it a little, like an hour or two each night, slowly get through there. But it's still very enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean that kind of like jogged my memory a little bit, especially with talking about Helldivers 2, because that was a game that I hid behind a subscriber like wall, I guess you could say. When I finally hit the milestone, I was just kind of like, all right, I'm finally like, I've been looking at videos of this game. I played the first one when it was a top-down shooter for a little bit and wasn't like super impressed, but seeing videos and seeing like all the stuff that people were doing with Helldivers 2, I was so pumped. And I've only done 2 streams of the game so far, but every time I've done a stream of the game, it's been hilarious. It's so fun. But then also like, I'll talk about this one in a bit. But other games that came out in 2024 just alone, like Crow Country was a really big, just like
I wanted to try that. That looked pretty good.
It looked good.
I had a lot of fun. That was another one that I got the code for it, so #free product, I guess. But that one like took me by surprise the first time I saw the trailer for it, because I was like, oh, this is a Final Fantasy VII looking ass game with Resident Evil controls and style, and it really is fun. Like, and especially if you're like, if you just want to explore and you don't want to have to deal with combat, there's a mode for that. They've actually just recently added more difficulty modes to make it harder. But but I think just the normal game by itself was just a lot of fun to play. And it just, not a lot of fanfare for it. It just kind of came out, but I think it could easily be one of my top 5 games this year. Especially considering like all the other games that I played. So
I think
yeah,
that might get a little bit more attention if they ever port it to the Switch because it was PC and PS5 only, correct?
yes. I don't know if there are plans, but I would hope so because I want that game in more people's hands.
It's amazing what the Switch influence is like. There's like people were wondering like why did they announce that new Marvel collection at the Direct instead of at Evo? It's like because you're gonna get more people to watch Direct than they are at Evo. So
Mm-hmm.
Switch sells things.
It does. It does. I mean, I feel like the Switch is what propelled Hades into the stratosphere because people knew about Hades for a long time, and it was in early access for a while. It just wasn't until it was just on the Switch as a retail release that I just started seeing it everywhere because more people have Switches, and then they did an Epic Game Store account. So it was just kind of interesting to see that.
I think that actually going back way back, I think it is kind of the crux of Switch versus Steam Deck. Steam Deck, yeah, you can have everything and anything, but it's not going to sell anybody on something because now as you said, it's more expensive. Switch, everybody has a Switch. If it's on there and gets good word of mouth, people are going to pick it up.
Yeah,
even if it might be available in the Steam Deck as well, or even earlier.
I mean, time will tell when it comes to the Steam Deck, especially because I don't know how easy it is to just simply buy one. Especially like you can buy a Switch at Target. Can you buy a Steam Deck at Target? Once you start seeing like maybe cheaper models of a Steam Deck and you start seeing them more in stores, that could change. But at least for now, there is something to be said about the power of making a Switch port. So
I think that the Switch is the cheaper Steam Deck.
It kind of is.
Yeah. It's funny because like this is the second time that Valve has attempted hardware. Like really? Like nobody remembers the Steam machine.
I remember.
Oh boy.
But Steam Deck is selling to the core gamers, the hardcore gamers, but most I don't know, I think the Switch is the retail version of a Steam machine. Or I'm sorry, a Steam Deck.
Just can't play Half-Life on it. So going into the end of the year, is there anything coming out rest of 2024 that y'all are looking forward to? Or are we just simply trying to get through the backlogs that we have already? Because I know I am.
Besides the ones that we already talked about, I'm still waiting for a release date for the Plucky Squire. Is supposed to come out this year. They recently reiterated it's coming out in 2024, but we don't have a release date yet. I'm waiting.
I have my list here. My list. Obviously Zelda, Mario X Luigi, Dragon Quest. Sony's new Mario game looks fun, but I won't play it because I don't have a PS5. I'm excited about Mario Party. The ones we talked about, but then also like there's little ones too that I'm really excited about. I'm definitely excited about. There's a game also made by the same people that did Questmaster. It's called Little Lands.
Yeah.
It's like a Link to the Link's Awakening 2019 style, but mix that with a farming simulator, so that's really cool. And then I have not checked in on the nonsense with the new Star Wars Outlaw game by Ubisoft, but I'm a sucker for Star Wars, so I'll play it and complain about it. And then the only other game that I'm excited about is my good pal Jay Artist is releasing a game called Let's Cafe. It's a very cozy little it's a little cozy little like basically cooking simulator. Like you run a cafe, you do all the cooking, you build you get ingredients and you make meals for cute little sprite animals that they have. So definitely check that out. This is a plug. Sorry, you get plugged. There's a plug for Jay Artist's new game. It's called Let's Cafe on Steam.
Nice.
Very cool.
By Josh Jepson.
Hi, Josh.
As far as other stuff I'm excited for that I didn't mention, other than Dragon Quest and Mario and Luigi, uh, I'm curious about Metaphor. I mean, that definitely looks interesting. But the thing is, it's like RPGs that I'm curious about. But it's like, oh, cool. I haven't even had time to finish Rebirth, so I can't pick these up. But I am interested in them. Um, just actually playing them because, yeah, we got Metaphor. We've got um, Fantasian finally getting a port, and that looks like a lot of fun. Um, like there's stuff I'm interested in, but it's just finding time
Yeah.
to actually do it. But outside of the RPGs, I'm not seeing a ton. Like, uh, I'm a Dragon Ball fan, so the new Sparking Zero game could be a lot of fun, but it's more of a wait and see what happens with that one. I do probably want to pick up the Marvel collection whenever that comes out, but we don't have a release date on that one. But otherwise, it's just a lot of wait and see for me. Like, I'm really interested in games, but nothing's calling out to me as like I need to plunk down the money right away until Dragon Quest and Mario and Luigi.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm just kind of looking at like I've been waiting on Visions of Mana for a while.
It's another one, yeah.
I actually bought Dawn of Mana for the first time like a couple of years ago, just because it came out at a time when I think JRPGs were in an awkward place, and a lot of the review outlets in the West were kind of not really vibing with JRPGs. There was like a time when all of a sudden it was not okay to be a JRPG. And I feel like I missed out on that because I just read the reviews and was like, oh, it doesn't sound good. So I didn't spend the $40 on it.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in playing Dawn, but I'm more interested in just seeing the return of the franchise as a whole with Visions. It looks amazing. I just hope it plays and is fun. And kind of the same thing with Romancing Saga 2. I had that spoiled for me because I didn't yet see the whatever presentation that it was on. I can't remember exactly, but I saw like, I think it might have been the Nintendo Direct, honestly. But I saw a trailer for it and I was like, I can't believe they're coming back to like Romancing Saga and giving it to us, because that just isn't one of their biggest franchises. It kind of is, but
I'm shocked with how much support Saga gets, and I've never played a single game.
Yeah, I mean, I was like an odd fan of Final Fantasy Legend simply because as a kid it was a way to have portable Final Fantasy, but that was a Saga game. So that was my first introduction to it. And if you like quirky RPG mechanics, Saga's got your back. It's got the weirdest ones. Everyone that's ever talked about the original Final Fantasy 2, that guy, the director of that game, went on to make the Saga franchise. So a lot of that makes sense to me now.
And he's still directing new games. This is his baby, and he has pull in the company, which is why we keep getting them.
And then I'm cautiously optimistic about Silent Hill 2. Cautiously optimistic. Not a lot of people are happy about the developer. It's already kind of getting some bad press. I played Silent Hill Short Message earlier this year, and it is easily one of the worst games I played this year. So I'm not expecting a lot, and there's a part of me that's like, should I just wait? But there's also like the horror game streamer me that's like, nah, we should just do it, even if it's crap. At least it's content. And that's how I should always be looking at things, I guess. I think those are like some of the big ones that I'm looking forward to towards the end of the year. But it's just really, really nice that suddenly Square kind of, given some of the stuff that they talked about earlier this year with like Final Fantasy 16 and Rebirth not selling like they wanted to, I'm very interested to, and I'm hoping for good news for all their other franchises. So, and yeah, like Echoes of Wisdom is just kind of an obvious one for me. And then Brothership, just like everybody else. So, yeah, we've got a decent rest of this year ahead of us. I think in terms of what we're looking forward to in 2025, we can definitely talk about that more so towards the end of the year. But I think we've done enough damage, don't you think? We've abused this year enough. I think let's give it a rest, and then we'll come back and maybe talk about how we really felt after Silent Hill 2 released, how 2024 really went.
I think everybody knew that this was going to be kind of a transitional year, but then
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Oh, we'll work on our backlogs." But then, Nintendo and a few others have definitely given us a few things to chew on in the meantime.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for hanging out with me tonight. Everyone in chat, everyone that is talking to me right now, it was a pleasure being able to kind of do this all with you. It's been a while for the podcast, but I'm glad to be back. So let's just kind of go around, Robin, and we'll talk about where can we find y'all. What are y'all up to? We'll start with our newcomer Derrick first.
Sure. I'm part of the YouTube channel Good Vibes Gaming, with a bunch of other guys. We try to get content out there as much as possible, ranging just from whatever comes to our head, basically. Could be current stuff, could be old stuff, could be oddities here and there. I'm working on a new video at the time. Hope to have up relatively soon. Taking a look at trying to predict what the first game Capcom will put out for the Switch successor by looking at what they released as their first game for all the previous consoles.
Ooh.
So we'll see let's see if I can determine that. Otherwise, I do stream on Twitch under Bitnerd Games, where it's every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and each day is a different game. Just trying to, my big gimmick is earn enough channel points you can request a game for me to play. Except my backlog is huge now. There's a lot of games for me to play, so that did not think that one through. But we're working through it, playing some interesting things, and yeah, that's mostly. I'd say Twitter, but I don't post on Twitter that often. Like I'll read everybody else. It's like I should post something, and I'm like, I got nothing.
I don't want. Rebecca, where can we find you and what are you up to?
I do continue to shitpost on Twitter at forestminish. I also stream on Twitch. I play mostly Nintendo stuff, some retro stuff, just random stuff. I don't know. I like video games and I like Zelda, so come talk to me about them.
As you do on the podcast almost every time. The next podcast episode is free, I think. Jyggy, where can we find you and what are you up to?
I hate video games and I don't like playing them. So you should come over to twitch.tv/Jyggy and talk to me about playing a video game because maybe it will happen. That's the real bit. But yeah, you can find me there most nights, most days over at twitch.tv/Jyggy, where I do different Nintendo focused content, but I also like to talk about what's going on in the world and what's going on within the gaming world too. So yeah.
He jokes, but honestly, like sometimes when I watch him on stream, I'm concerned. I don't think this guy really likes video games.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
And if you want to find me in the podcast, you can subscribe to this channel right now. It's free. It's easy. You can like this video. If you're listening to this podcast, you can find me on youtube.com/laughingboylp. You can watch the video version of this podcast live once a month, including a special Q&A session at the start for those of you who tune in early. You can also find the audio-only version of the podcast on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search DialogBOX, all one word. Hey, for all of you who stuck around, here's 5 gift subs.
Ooh.
They give me 10 a month that I can give out. I forgot to, I kind of forgot to do it at the start of the podcast, and then I did it in the middle of the podcast. So
Very
I want to gift some subs to everyone who was here at the beginning. Gift a couple more to those who stuck around till the end. So thank you guys, everybody, for watching. Come back here next month for more video game talkings abouts. But until then, this has been another fantastic episode 50 of DialogBOX. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.